continue with this conversation, and I'd like to drift a little bit and talk about where we are as a country as pertains art.
Right.
For South Africa telling me this is a big business. But the galleries all over it, this is a thing that has now been enshrined in the culture. It's huge. But then I might be wrong. I've only been to one gallery in Nairobi. Maybe I'm not attuned to where these events are, but I've been to one at Alliance Française.
Nice, nice.
Got there some amazing art.
Nice place to start, yeah.
Nice place to start.
Yeah.
I'm just at the beginning, isn't it? Anyway, do you think that now we as a country have fully embraced this industry?
I love it. Let me tell you, essentially, as a Kenyan and as a Nairobian, I feel like you'd really have to be in denial to not like art. Art is everywhere around us. To begin with the matatu culture that makes us stand out in the world, really. You have art all over it. And as the years have gone by, especially more recently, you can notice in the central business district, there's much more murals going on. There's graffiti in places, you know, the city market and all these areas. There's so much art going on. And we are visual creatures. We really are. What you see, you tend to believe. And so art in Kenya at the moment is good. People keep saying, oh, you know, people won't buy African art, Kenyan artists. Really, you haven't put yourself out there, because there's people who appreciate and love art. And I feel like in the years to come, art will be a big business. So if you start early, the fortunes belong to you.
Yes. So creating your story a bit early.
Yeah.
Isn't it, what do you envision yourself? And I know, but I would say you're not many as well.
Right.
The good artists in this country, the ones who stand out, you guys are not many. It's when the story for the Kenyan art is getting credit, and the guys who are so deep into it.
Right.
How far do you think we are? I know you've been to a couple of galleries and you've seen how international galleries are done and are conducted, where, you know, people never understand. Like, a painting will go to $20 million. Even there's some that are valueless, the likes of Mona Lisa, and nobody can buy it now.
Right.
It's like, guys, you can't put a value on it. How far are we from making this industry mainstream, the way the other forms of art in this country have grown? Case in point, music and poetry.
Right. So we are very much in the early stages, let me say. I have artists that I look up to in this country of ours. There's Patrick Mukabi, Michael Soi, Chela Chelangat, the one who's done Cookie to Restaurant. You know, you see the vibrant art. I love it. She's an inspiration.
Yes, every time I go to Kikito, I'm like, who's this guy? Yeah, because it's such an inspiration.
I know. Yeah, and in the 21st century, she really inspires a lot of us women. And I have to say that we really are, we're young. We're very young in this art industry, I have to say. Before we get to the point where we really embrace our own and our people really are willing to buy your art at the price tag that it's going for, first of all, you have to understand that for the price tag, this is the value that I'm giving you. I could easily sell you a 2,000 bob painting as I could a 20 million shilling painting, but it's the value that I've put on it, how much work, quality and skill that I have put into that piece. And before we get to appreciate that, I feel like we have to appreciate ourselves as a people. Yes.
And I'll go back to the question that I asked you earlier on exactly how the other forms of art have grown. Case in point, music.
All right.
And I don't know what your genre is, but I'm just going to try and mention the artists who are actually trying to do big things in this particular one. Right now, if I give you the story of Sauti Sol, Sauti Sol have already created a story that if I know they're going to release a song, it's going to be around A, B, C, D. So it's either like it or not. Or then I try to sit back and interpret what their lines mean. Somebody like Nyashinsky, I know is deep into his rap, and his rhyme is so deep that you have to actually read within the lines and listen within the lines for you to know
You could
exactly.
miss it.
That's it. For you to know exactly what he's communicating about.
Right.
For you to fully enjoy it.
Yes.
What do you think is going to be the conduit for majority of artists like yourself then to start telling your story so that every other time I'm somewhere in Nairobi CBD and I see a certain painting, I'll be like, yo, that is Waridi. I know because of A, B, C, D.
Right.
Is that conduit? It's what has been heavily established in other, I would say, performing economies, like the Western economies now. It's huge that it's not a big problem for artists like yourself to tell their story and to identify with it.
Right.
Is it a conduit that we're missing?
I'd say essentially for that to come to pass, it has a lot to do with the artist, and it's how you see yourself, how you identify yourself. Who am I as a person? What am I trying to communicate? And I'd circle back to what I said, that you can only put out who you are inside. So the thing that Sauti Sol puts out, it's who they are inside. What Nyashinsky puts out is who he is inside. And then what is he trying to communicate with that? What message is he pushing? What is he trying to achieve with his music? So essentially what we call it a niche as artists. The cookie, let me use the Kukito artist, Chela, for example. Anywhere, she could do a mural somewhere in a cave and I'd know this is Chela, because that's who she's drawn into the deepest parts of herself, and she's decided, I will identify this way. This is what will make me stand out in this industry. This is who I am, and this is the message that I'm trying to put out. Yes. So it's essentially you as an artist to dig deep in yourself, find out who you are, what you're trying to convey out there, and make it a niche. You can. But also, there's people who are very, very diverse. Very diverse. You cannot box them. You cannot tell them, yes, this is what you're going to put out, and this is all we want to see.
Put out.
Yeah, from you.